Good morning, everybody. DommyGun Rici. I made it. Technical difficulties this morning. How's everybody doing? Sorry I'm late. Tough weekend to start capping, man, with this football and with baseball winding down. It's been a little bit crazy, but I moved everything out to the outdoors Who-Bangin Sports Studio, East Coast. I moved everything to the outside for the football season. It's just too hot out here in this room for the summertime. But it took me some issues with wiring and routers, and most of you guys that know me know that technical and computers and me don't really mix, man. If anybody gets a lot of help with this stuff, it's me. So, anyway, I made it. Glad to be here. Thank you, Razor, for stopping in right away. Ixnizzle, I made it, my brother. It took me a little time, but we made it. I got a couple games for you today. I know it's football season. I started a little late. I'll go through these quick. I got 3 games, 4 bets. Instead of popping through every game, I'll go through these games first, and then we'll see how much time we have left. My goal is to be done by 10:30 for the boss and the sauce. Just got to click out of this channel, then click onto their link, and watch the 2 best college football handicappers that I know. I know a bunch of them, and I know a bunch that are good, but I don't know any that are better. Maybe as good, but not better than the boss, DJ Big Boss, and the sauce, Big Ragu 62, together for 6 years straight on the longest low bag channel, steady, never changed, and that's Who-Bangin Sports Talk. So keep that in mind. The guys have really been working hard at Who-Bangin. We got a lot of shows popping up. We'll be ready to go. Wine Time Sports in the house. What's up, Wine Time? We got to get you on a baseball show before the end of the year. Next Saturday, I won't make next Saturday's show. I have a out-of-town wedding next Friday night. What fun, right? And so I won't make it next Saturday, but the Saturday after that, we'll see if I get my friend Wine Time Sports to join us on one of the last shows. Baseball's winding down. Last 20 games or so, right? 25 games. Toughest part of this season. It's been up and down for me September so far. It's been hard. I've been back to the roller coaster, which I really avoided most of the year this year, which is the good news. But I will say September, at the longer the month goes on, too, it's tougher. There's teams jockeying for position. There's some teams that don't care no more. There's some teams that don't care no more, but some of the players on those teams care. And because they're playing for contracts for next year, they're playing for incentives in their contract this year. People don't realize. They're like, oh, the Royals, oh, the Tigers, or whoever, oh, the Mets. What are they playing for? Well, some guys are playing for a contract next year, right? Some guys are playing for some incentives in their contracts. We don't know what they got. Players have these crazy, things in their contracts with number of bats, X amount of hits or what have you. So that's where I'm at today. I actually have 2 football picks also, but I won't break those down. I'll just give them to you at the end of the day. But we'll keep the breakdowns for the boys after we are done with. So the first game on the schedule, well, we got some good games today, and there's some tough games. And for instance, starting off with Arizona and the Cubs, I'm staying away. It's a tough game. Again, here's 2 teams, perfect point. These 2 teams both need this game terribly. The Diamondbacks, who came out of that All-Star break not as good as we all liked them in the first half, and we all thought they were going to be a real force in the second half. They came out slow. They seem to have rebounded a little bit. Last week or so, they've been playing pretty good. But the Cubs, the same thing with the Cubs. A team that's been a little up and down, but in the second half, they did come back on strong. They're a tough team, so they're jockeying for position. A lot of teams are jockeying, so that's a game I stayed away for instance. Then you got the Dodgers and the Nationals. I stayed away, big line. Again, the Dodgers ain't playing well. The Dodgers need these games, especially against these bad teams like the Nationals. What I do have a play on is this next game, and that is, let's get to this here, and that is the Phillies and the Marlins. Now, the Marlins are a team that I liked all year long. It's a team I've backed a lot this year. Um, and it's a team who is jockeying for that wild card spot. And you know who they're jockeying with? The Giants. There's a 2.5 game spread, 2.5 game difference with the Giants and the Fish. The Fish are ahead of the Giants by 2.5 games in the wild card so far. So that's the Miami. That's an important game for Miami. Important game for the Phillies in division. Good morning, RVD 420. We always like that number 420. Thanks for coming in, brother. I appreciate your support all the time. This game over here with the Miami and Philly. Now, I've been back in Philly. I got 2 plays on this game. I've been back in Philly lately, and they've been playing well. But I don't particularly like them that much in today's game. But I couldn't really come with the with line. Now, I mean, they got the Phillies at minus 195, which I really don't understand. Nola has not played well against. First of all, Nola's been kind of up and down a little bit, but he has progressed as the year gone on. I talked about Nola as one of the guys I thought was going to have a hard time at the beginning of the year with the rules and stuff. That I beat to death that theory, but it really Nola was in that category. He has not pitched great lately, but he's never have pitched good against the Phillies this year. I mean, against the Marlins this year. This year, he has 11 2/3 innings against Miami Marlins with 17 hits, 9 runs, 8 of those were earned, 4 homers with a 6.17 ERA. That does not bode well. The Fish seem to have his number. I like the Fish today. I didn't want to take them at a 175. I did hit them at a nice plus price last week. But in that first game against the Dodgers with Kershaw pitching. But I don't see this as the same situation. I see a lot of runs being scored in this game. So when I see a lot of runs being scored, it's tough to take a side for me. In this month of September, I am trying to lean more on totals and things like that. Just because the handicapping on the side just becomes harder, and there's so many more variables. So Don Play in the house. What's up, Don? Missed you, man. Good to see you. Hope you got after this, Don. You know, DJ Big Boss and Ragu are they're back home on our Who-Bangin Sports channel doing the NCAA football. So that'll be at 10:30 right after this show is over. They started off pretty good last week, and you know how those guys are. I mean, I know for a fact DJ's been at this, and Big Ragu been at this college football for like 2 months already, breaking things down, this and that. Back to baseball. Let's make this quick. Cueto against Nola. One pitcher worse than the next in this spot, especially. Cueto's ERA is above 5. He has 2 or more homers in 4 of the last starts. I always look at pitchers giving up home runs as a not as just like a bad pitch that went over. That has a lot to do with control, a lot to do with that pitch with contact. You know, when you're letting up home runs like that really kind of filters out into other parts of the game. You know, Cueto was penned as that ground ball specialist, that, you know, pitch to contact type of hitter, good control. It's not a pitcher, I mean. It hasn't been the case this year with Cueto. Now, Philly in the last month has been hitting righties in the last month, but Nola, like I said, has not pitched well against, and in his last start was against the Brewers, who are the 27th versus righties in OPS in the last month. The Brewers fell off batting against righty pitches, and Nola gave up 7 runs in that last start versus them. So all in all, what that gave me was taking the over 9 in this game. Let me get you the price. The over 9 was minus 115, and I took Miami's team total over 3.5 at minus 130. Usually I won't go over minus 125, but it's getting towards the end of the year, and you got to make a couple adjustments here and there. So what I did was take the Fish over 3.5 team total. I think they get to Nola, and I took over 9 total in the game. I felt that was the safest way to play this game today, and that's what I did. Let me just take a quick look at Cueto's last 3. Yeah, he pitched 15 innings total with a 5.87 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, 12 strikeouts to 6 home runs. Nola, last three, he has gotten 18 innings in the last 3 games. He has gone 2-1 for the Phillies, but a 4.34 ERA, a good whip, 1.112. So he's giving up those long balls. He's giving up those home runs. 19 Ks to 3 home runs. So, like I said, I think that bodes well for the over 9. I think if you're gonna take that, maybe you should grab it now because it could go up. It's still at -115, but you don't want to see a 9.5. So if you agree with that play, jump on it. I have no play on this St. Louis Cardinals Cincinnati game. I'm not really sure about the pitcher for Cincinnati. The Cardinals have been winning lately, so a tough game. Tough game. And Cincinnati's another team that needs every one of these games and hasn't been playing too well. The next game that I am on, then I see Pittsburgh, Atlanta. I thought Morton was supposed to be pitching. Now I see Dodd. Braves lost a couple big prices this week, and they're a big price again today. But I don't see them losing against Oviedo. That's for sure. The next game I do have a play on, and it's the team I mentioned before, the Giants. The Giants are fighting for a wild card spot, 2.5 behind the mark. Giants are a tricky team, man. They going into the All-Star break, they had a nice, good 10-game streak, and then they lost a few. Then they came out of the break, not good. Then they won some. They've just been a tough team, the real roller coaster team, and a team that it's been tough to really find a way to back them all the time. It's just always been kind of coin flippy for me with the Giants. But let's see what I could tell you about. So we have what happened? Okay, so there was a pitching change, right? So Logan Webb is pitching for the Giants, which was a pitching change. They put Cobb, that's right, on the disabled list, I believe. I believe he's hurt, and they put him on, which again does not bode well for the Giants. Hopefully, he's not out completely. I'm not sure what injury he's about, but he was scheduled to pitch this game, and is not pitching it. So, like I said, the Giants are fighting for that spot. Yeah, that's why they didn't list him on the on my sheet for the pitches. They don't have him listed for that reason. All right. So anyhow, we got Webb, who's pitched all right this year. A breakout game for the Giants is the most important thing in this game. And like I said, they're fighting wild card. They're pitching against Colorado, against Anderson, who has an over 6 ERA. He was hurt. His last start, he came back. His first start back, he gave up in a 7-5 loss, a few innings. He gave up 4 homers. Not a good performance. I'm trying to find that. If I could, trying to find that start, because I know I have something wrong on that. But regardless, I have the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants today against the Colorado. What I did was, because the line was so high, I'm trying to find this one stat here for you guys. What I did take was the Giants on the run line, another rare bet that I usually don't take, but I took it today. On the run line, -120. I think the Giants really break out in this game. The lineup that I'm looking at now matches well against Anderson, and there is. I'm not going to be able to find that. So regardless, I am going to go with the Giants here. Here we go. Here we go. The Giants. The Giants have hit the first 5 innings, team total under, in 65 of the last 106 games. So they are not their total in the first 5 innings. They have, as we know, they don't hit the ball well. They don't score a lot of runs. And if you took their team total under over the last 100 games, 65 of the last 100 games, you'd be up almost 20 units on that play, which I didn't realize that they have been hitting their first 5 team totals have been so low. But they, they have hit the. But what they have hit is the money line in 29 of the last games for like you'd be about plus 3 units. So that's about what I could tell you about the Giants. Let's see, Rockies, same thing. Rockies first five team total on the last five of the last 20 games. If you bet the Rockies over team total in the last 20 games, you only won five of them, and you'd be down almost 13 units. Pretty not good. So they don't come out of the gate. Not that the Giants do, but the advantage in pitching is big. With the Giants, I think the Giants' bats are a lot better. They do match up well against Colorado, and because of the time constraint, that screw me up. I can't really get into what I want to get into, but let's just take it from there. We've been talking baseball all year, so let's just keep it short. Giants minus 120, minus 1.5. That is my bet for that game. I think the Giants really break out. There's such a big line though on their game. What is it, 2-something? They're listed at now at it's been rising all night. Yeah, minus 265. So that's a tough one to take. The Giants do have a couple categories where they do match up pretty good going forward, and if the Giants can make a run here, it's going to be an exciting finish. Especially I see the Marlins and them pretty much alike in a lot of different categories. Let's do any kind of see the Giants. I'll tell you, the Giants are ranked so bad in certain aspects of the game, below league average in opponents' hits per game, opponents' batting average, allowing runs from opponent, their own batting average. They're ranked 24th, ranked 23rd in hits per game. They really have not lived up to expectations, that's for sure. But I think this is a Giants spot here. Let's see if they can take it for us and give us that win. The last game I got is just listen. I think this team is as always. This team has always comes on at the end. This team is always there. Everybody always hopes that they're not going to be there, but there at the end every year, and they've been playing good ball, especially after the All-Star break. That's the Houston Astros. I love them today. They're minus 130. They opened up at minus 122. I believe this line goes up higher. I think Houston, first of all, I think the advantage is with Javier over Lugo. If you look at Lugo's starts in August, now this stuff I do have in front of me. If you look at Lugo's starts in August, he had one really tough start against a real one of the top teams, and that was the Dodgers, and it didn't play well. Had 8 earned runs against the Dodgers, and then you could arguably say it's been his toughest start since then. And now we got the Astros, who listen. Their bats are on fire. They're playing. They're better. They're playing. I think their bats. I think the pitching staff. I think everything is better than the Padres. The Padres, one of those teams, big disappointment this year. Like my New York Mets. I know every week I compare them, but I am again because that's how I feel about them. Mr. Javier, I like him. I know a lot of guys don't like him. I know he's been a little tricky this year. I know he's won. There's some games that he should have won that he didn't win. But I like him. I think he's the better pitcher. His last start was a quality outing against the New York Yankees, who have been playing better and better. They weren't the Yankees, of the last 2 months. The last couple of weeks, Yankees have come on a little strong. They started hitting the ball, and they're a team that, they're making that little late run now a little bit, and it's probably going to be a little bit too late. But typical Yankees, they didn't do anything at the All-Star break. I was a little surprised at that. I guess they thought they were locked in, and the Judge was coming back and will be clear sailing. Well, that didn't happen because of their pitching staff. What happened to all their pitchers? That staff, like the Dodgers, kind of got decimated. But Javier's last start against the Yankees, like I said, was a quality start, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, 3 runs, but no walks. And when I see no walks, 8 Ks, 6 innings, that's good enough for me. let's see. The Astros have the lowest strikeout rate last month versus righty. They're in the top 10 in OPS. They're in the top 15 of ISO. They're raking basically against righties. Lugo, I know Lugo is from the Mets. Never one of my favorite pitchers. Has pitched well this year. I'll give it to him. And he did land in a good spot. He got out of New York in a time where they were just blowing up that pitching staff. So. We'll give them that, but in every category, I see as the pick. I took them at minus 130. I see them now at minus 134 on BetUS. I think if you like the Astros today, you take them now. They're the team to take. Let's just find out a couple little things about the Astros. I'll give you my two. Football picks and we'll get out of here. I don't do well when I have to rush, right? Sorry about that, guys, but that's how it goes. The Astros are ranked in Major League Baseball. They're ranked 5th in runs per game. They're ranked 6th in run differential. They're ranked 5th in batting average, 4th in hits per game, 9th in home runs per game, 1st in earned run average in the bullpen, 2nd in opponents' hits per game in the bullpen. So, a lot of key categories there. The Astros are in the top 5, top 10 in baseball. Their league average in home runs allowed per game in the bullpen at 16. And they're ranked 14 at errors per game, which isn't so great, but that, kind of works itself out. Like I said, the Astros in every category are just raking. What do we know about Seth Lugo? Seth Lugo's last 18 innings pitched, 12 hits, 0.83 whip, a 1 ERA. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Where Javier has not had the same success in the last 3. But like I said, the reason why I like the Astros today is because I think the matchup with the Astros against Lugo is the side to be on. Like I said, when Lugo pitched well against the Dodgers, which is another tough, as at the beginning of the August, and I think those both games have a lot of correlation. So that was my thought on that game, and that's what I did. So let me give you my 4 bets for today. Sorry I was rushed. Sorry I was late. Had some difficulties, but we're setting up out here in this new studio, and when it comes, like I said, technical stuff, it takes me a while to get it together. So my plays today, they're all of them. The San Francisco Giants, minus 1.5, minus 120. The Astros, money line, minus 130. And 2 bets on the Phillies-Miami game. That's the over 9, minus 115 in the game. And then Miami Marlins, team total, over 3.5, minus 130. I would think maybe that might be my best bet if I had to pick one. I think Marlins get to Nola. I gave you those stats where Nola has not already here almost 12 innings against the Fish where he has not pitched well. So hey, let's see if it works out for one more game. Like I said, man, September is so tough to in baseball. So many more variables have been added to the handicap, and that's what's making me. I took off 2 days this week. I don't think all year I took off 2 days, except for the week I took off right by the All-Star break. But I don't usually take off too many games in a row. But when it comes to September, and now even the back end of September, I cut back and cut back and cut back, and just get ready for the playoffs, man. It's going to be fun. The playoffs, I still say, are wide open. The Braves have shown a little crink in the armor lately, but that's just expected. They're still the team to beat. They're still the class of the Major League Baseball. They can only beat themselves. It coming down to the end of the year, we have a couple that might be some surprising. The Twins, I guess, are in there, but it's tough to trust. A little strange game, I thought, today for the Twins. The Texas Rangers, a team that we all liked, a team that was going strong, and now the last week or so have not fared well whatsoever. The Marlins, let's see if they can make some noise in the East and get into the wild card. They might make some noise if they could get to that wild card. They're fighting out with the Giants. If I had to pick now, I would take the Marlins. I think they're the better team. So, but we'll go over all that. We'll try to do next week. I won't be here. Like I said, I have a wedding. The week after that, we'll do a show. I'll try to get some guests on. See if Wine Time is around. We'll see maybe if Razor could join us. Whoever. I know it's early in the morning, but we'll see. Because we could talk a little bit about what we see in the playoffs, because I let next week go. That's the 16th. Then the following week will be like the 23rd. There'll only be like another 2 weeks left of baseball. So that Saturday, 2 weeks from today, will be a good time to tackle some playoff talk and some, postseason thoughts. So we'll do that. But those are my 4 games for today. My 2 NCAA football added plays. I took the Wisconsin-Washington State game. I took under 57.5. I know last week they both teams had some big matchups, but some high scoring games. But these two teams last year, Washington State, I believe, beat Whiskey. Oh, no, that was the next game, Texas Tech. This game last year was like a 17-14 type of game, and I believe it's going to be that kind of game again today. I went under 57.5 in that game. My other game was a Texas Tech game. They lost this game last year. I see this, and last week, that's what I meant. I got it mixed up in another game. Last week they lost last week, Texas Tech, in a game against Wyoming, Wyoming seems to be a better team maybe this year than we expected. I think they caught Texas Tech by surprise, and maybe that's why the line is where it is. Texas Tech coming home opened up at 6.5. I took them at +6, -105. I do see a -5.5 in one or two books now. So some money be coming in now on Texas Tech. But I took them. So I took Whiskey game, Whiskey, Washington State under 57.5. Texas Tech +6, -105. Those are my 2 plays for the NCAAF. I probably will have more because I will be listening to Big Boss and Big Ragu with the Boss and the Sauce show coming on in about 7 minutes. So I'll let you guys get out of here, get yourself a cup of coffee, get your system to roll, and light it up with thanking everybody for coming in. I know it's a quick, short show, but that's just the way it goes, man, this time of year. Before we know it, it'll be all football all the time until our college basketball starts. Right, Don Play? Looking forward to that college basketball. We had a good run last year with me, Tease, Don Play in the shows. We had some nice spots this year with Tease leading the way for us. So we'll stay tuned to that. All right, Who-Bangin' Sports Talk. We got shows, on Tuesdays, live sweats, Thursdays, live sweats. Wham is back doing NFL for us on Sunday mornings. I told you about the Boss and the Sauce coming up. I'll be doing a lot of it up to the end of the year. We got some UFC shows starting up with some new guys on Who-Bangin', Dylan in the crowd. So we'll get that schedule up and get the promos all up for you and you guys. And all I can say is, stay tuned to the longest-running low-bag channel. That is Who-Bangin' Sports Talk, where we believe that we're all in this together, guys. And I know we always say that a lot of times, and we're all here to beat the books. But a lot of times, guys doing different things on different channels. Sometimes things get, taken out of context. Sometimes things mixed up. Sometimes, feelings get hurt where they shouldn't. But, we're into the collaboration here at Who-Bangin' Sports Talk. And our motto here is collaboration is better than competition. I think if, the right forces always join together, it's always better. So that's how I look at it. So, Who-Bangin' Sports Talk is that's what we're all about. The collaboration and us together, working together. I'm not looking to beat you. I'm only looking to beat the book. Right, Fopatashi? We're looking to beat the book. So let me run my plays over for my boy Fopa before we get out of here. Giants -1.5. Miami team total over 3.5. Phillies over 9. Astros -130. NCAA NCAAF. Whiskey, Washington State, under 57.5. Texas Tech +6. Those are my games. That's what I'm doing today. Give me a like, give me a follow. Help us out at Who-Bangin, and we will be back during the week. Get yourself a coffee, get yourself something to roll, and switch on over to the Boss and the Sauce. They'll be starting in a few minutes. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Love you guys.